I've tried for many years to invite Oliver Knussen, Olly, to come to Paris and conduct the Ensemble Intercontemporain. We tried, we found dates, then he had to cancel. And we finally had a date this season on the 10th of December, and all of a sudden he passed away. So we decided to turn the occasion into like an homage to Olly, who was, without any doubt, one of the dearest colleagues in the field of contemporary music that we had. Olly was one of the most generous spirits. He was very kind. He was very curious. Olly was one of those who was a lot more interested to find out about what other people were thinking than talking about himself. I think I can say that Olly loved the music of Elliott Carter like nobody else. He was playing it all the time, featuring in it, and it was so beautiful to see him conduct this music and making the music of Carter just come out in the most natural way. If you would have seen Olly conduct very minimal gestures, there was so much sound and care and love in his music making. It's rather music making than conducting what he did, that it really made the music of Carter fly and unfold and show all his beauty and the colors that are inside. So there's the triple duo on the program, definitely one of the most complex pieces by Carter. And it sits right next to a beautiful and lush piece by Toru Takemitsu, a Japanese composer, the grand doyen of Japanese music, Rain Coming. Another work that is lush and beautiful and almost sounds like French music. It's music that breathes, and it's so easy to understand that Olly clearly was very connected to that sound world because there's so much phrasing in it. And Olly was one of those conductors who was always breathing with the musicians. He would always have his eyes in contact with the musicians and never in the score, because he knew it by heart, and he could really breathe with the musicians when they put their bow on the instrument, and when they Takemitsu, also personally one of my favorites. We're playing two of Olly's own pieces, obviously, because we wanted to feature that. And there is one piece, it's called Requiem. There are little songs for Sue. It's like it's a waving a farewell to a very, very dear friend. It's like a tombeau, how we would say in French. It's a very beautiful, nostalgic and sophisticated gesture of saying goodbye to a very dear friend. And then the other piece carries a Japanese title, O Hoto Tokisu. I hope I say that correctly. It shows also Olly's affinity for the Japanese culture. He loved eating in omakase, like sushi, and he was so into this culture of the uttermost refinement. And if you look at his scores, everything it's almost like the music of Anton Weber, and everything is so well placed. And Olly was, as a composer, a master of leaving out things. Only the very essential would come to the paper and to the score. What he wouldn't really essentially need, he left out. Definitely one of the features that I personally admire. I admire Olly for, like, to make the right choices about what needs to be said and what can be left out. And then, last but not least, a work by a composer that was very dear to both of us, to Olly and me, which is one of my teachers, Hans Werner Henze, who spent a part of his life in London, and he in the 80s and in the early 90s. And that was a moment when he got really close with Olly, and Olly was also one of the conductors that played a lot of Henze and created something like a renaissance for Hans Werner Henze's music in England. Now we bring Henze's music to Paris. It's called Ode an eine Äolsharfe. It's a German title. It's a guitar concerto played by our wonderful friend Pierre Bibot. And it is music with, how can I describe it? It's music that allows us to almost perceive air, courant d'air, like the the motion of air going through a beautiful ensemble and crystallizing on the surface with the extension of the solo instrument, like the harp. It's all these pieces on the program, hence Takemitsu, Olly's own music, are very beautiful. They share the same understanding for sophistication and a very sophisticated sense of expressing musical ideas. So Brett Lutman is replacing Olly for this concert, and this is the ensemble Intercontemporain saying goodbye, waving a farewell to our very, very dear friend Oliver Knussen.